What if I told you that the next 60 seconds of your life could completely rewrite your reality? Not next month, not next week, but literally in the next minute. You might think that's impossible, but stay with me because what you're about to discover goes against everything you've been taught about transformation. Most people spend years in therapy, decades in meditation retreats, lifetimes searching for that breakthrough moment. Yet ancient traditions and cutting-edge neuroscience are revealing the same shocking truth. Your breath isn't just keeping you alive. It's the quantum remote control to your entire reality. Dr. Bruce Lipton's groundbreaking research in epigenetics shows us that our cells can literally rewrite their genetic expression in response to environmental signals. And the most powerful environmental signal you control happens every single moment: your breath. But here's what nobody tells you. Most of us are breathing our limitations into existence without even knowing it. Joe Dispenza's work with brain imaging reveals something even more extraordinary. When subjects achieved heart-brain coherence through specific breathing patterns, their neural networks reorganized in real time. Not over months or years. In minutes. Sometimes in seconds. So why are you still waiting for your life to change when you have the power to shift everything with your next breath? Right now, as you're listening to this, your breath is telling a story. But it's not the story you think. Your breathing pattern is actually a live broadcast of your subconscious beliefs, your unprocessed traumas, and your deepest fears about the future. Dr. Lipton discovered that our cells are constantly eavesdropping on our internal environment. Every shallow breath you take is sending a signal to trillions of cells that says, "We're not safe." Every held breath communicates, "We're not worthy of taking up space." Every anxious gasp whispers, "Something terrible is about to happen." The disturbing truth is that 90% of people breathe as if they're perpetually running from something. Their nervous system has been hijacked by invisible stress, and they're literally suffocating their potential with every unconscious breath. Think about it. When was the last time you took a breath that felt like a celebration rather than a survival mechanism? When did you last breathe as if you belonged here, as if this moment was exactly where you were meant to be? Your breath has become a prison, but it was designed to be a portal. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Your heart isn't just a pump. It's the most powerful electromagnetic generator in your body, creating an energy field that extends up to 8 feet around you. This field is constantly communicating with the quantum realm, attracting experiences that match its frequency. But here's the shocking part. Your heart has over 40,000 neurons. It's literally a second brain, and it's been trying to guide you your entire life through the language of rhythm and resonance. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research reveals that when you achieve heart-brain coherence through conscious breathing, something extraordinary happens. Your personal electromagnetic field becomes coherent, organized, powerful. You literally become a different energetic being. The ancients knew this. Tibetan monks called the heart the lower mind, because they understood it processes information differently than the thinking brain. While your brain analyzes, your heart synthesizes. While your brain separates, your heart integrates. While your brain fears, your heart knows. But modern life has taught us to ignore this wisdom. We've become head-heavy and heart-disconnected. We think our way through life instead of breathing our way through it. And that's why manifestation feels so difficult, so forced, so exhausting. Your heart is waiting for you to remember how to listen. Here's something that might surprise you. Those elaborate breathing techniques you've been learning might actually be sabotaging your progress. Not because they're wrong, but because you're using them to escape rather than to arrive. Many people turn spiritual practices into athletic competitions. They collect techniques like trophies, always searching for the next level, the more advanced practice, the secret method that finally works. But this is just the ego dressed in spiritual clothing. The truth is, complexity often masks avoidance. When breathing becomes complicated, it becomes another way to stay in your head instead of dropping into your heart. It becomes performance rather than presence. Real transformation happens in simplicity. One conscious breath taken with complete presence is more powerful than an hour of elaborate techniques practiced with a scattered mind. The Zen masters understood this. They would spend decades perfecting a single breath. Not because it was difficult, but because they discovered that within one perfect breath lived the entire universe. Your power isn't in the technique. It's in your willingness to be completely present with whatever breath is happening right now. Why 60 seconds? Why not 5 minutes or 30 seconds? The answer lies in the hidden mathematics of consciousness itself. Research in chronobiology shows that our cells operate on precise timing cycles. 60 seconds represents a complete cycle in several key biological rhythms, including heart rate variability patterns and brainwave entrainment cycles. But here's the quantum part. Time isn't linear when you're in a coherent state. Dr. Dispenza's subjects report that minutes of elevated consciousness feel like hours, while hours of scattered thinking feel like minutes. You've experienced this. Time crawls when you're anxious and flies when you're in flow. In a state of perfect heart-brain coherence, 60 seconds of clock time can contain infinite experiential time. This is why profound insights, life-changing realizations, and spontaneous healings often happen in moments, not over years. Your consciousness is not bound by the limitations of linear time. When you drop into coherence, you step outside the normal flow of cause and effect. You enter what quantum physicists call non-local reality, where all possibilities exist simultaneously. This is where miracles become normal and transformation becomes instantaneous. Your breath is constantly sending you messages, but you've forgotten how to decode them. Each breathing pattern carries specific emotional and energetic information that your conscious mind doesn't recognize. The breath of anger is sharp, aggressive, held in the upper chest. It's the breath of someone preparing for battle, even when there's no real threat. The breath of fear is shallow, erratic, caught in the throat. It's the breath of someone who doesn't feel safe to fully inhabit their body. The breath of sadness is heavy, sighing, collapsed. It's the breath of someone who has given up on joy. The breath of anxiety is quick, irregular, never quite satisfying. It's the breath of someone who doesn't trust that life will provide what they need. But there's also the breath of love. Deep, flowing, generous. The breath of peace. Slow, rhythmic, grounded. The breath of joy. Light, effervescent, celebratory. Most people have been breathing their trauma for so long they think it's normal. They've forgotten what their natural breath even feels like. But your body remembers. Underneath all the conditioning, your original breathing pattern is still there, waiting to be rediscovered. When you learn to read your breath, you gain access to information that your thinking mind could never provide. Ancient shamans understood something that modern science is just beginning to rediscover. Your breath is a form of communication with the invisible forces that shape reality. When you breathe consciously, you're literally sending out a specific frequency that the quantum field responds to. This isn't mystical theory. This is measurable physics. Every breath you take creates electromagnetic waves that ripple outward through the field of consciousness that connects all things. These waves carry information about your internal state, your intentions, your level of coherence. The quantum field responds to coherence like a tuning fork responds to sound. When your breath becomes coherent, your energy becomes magnetic. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities multiply. People are drawn to you without knowing why. But when your breath is chaotic, scattered, fearful, you're broadcasting that frequency into the field. And the field, being perfectly neutral, delivers experiences that match that vibration. The shamans had a saying, "As you breathe, so you dream reality into being." Every breath is a vote for the kind of world you want to experience. What reality are you voting for with your breath right now? Most people unknowingly sabotage their breathing practice in ways they never recognize. These aren't obvious mistakes. They're subtle patterns that turn your greatest tool for transformation into just another source of frustration. The first sabotage is breathing with agenda. You use your breath to try to get somewhere else rather than to arrive more fully where you are. This creates resistance instead of flow. The second is comparative breathing. You judge your breath against some ideal or compare it to how you breathed yesterday. This takes you out of present moment awareness into mental analysis. The third is escape breathing. You use breathing practices to avoid feeling difficult emotions rather than to process and integrate them. This creates spiritual bypassing. The fourth is performative breathing. You breathe to look spiritual, to impress others, or to maintain an identity rather than for authentic transformation. The fifth is forceful breathing. You push and strain, trying to manufacture elevated states rather than allowing them to emerge naturally. The sixth is isolated breathing. You separate your breathing practice from your daily life, creating a split between your spiritual self and your regular self. The seventh is perfectionist breathing. You believe you need to breathe flawlessly before you can access transformation, not understanding that your imperfect breath right now is already perfect for this moment. Here's what no one tells you about difficult emotions. They're not obstacles to your spiritual growth. They're the raw material for it. Every dense emotion carries within it a specific frequency that, when breathed through consciously, transforms into its opposite. Anxiety, when breathed through without resistance, becomes excitement. Anger, when met with conscious breath, becomes passionate clarity. Sadness, when breathed with presence, becomes compassion. Fear, when embraced through the breath, becomes power. But most people try to breathe away their difficult emotions rather than breathe through them. This is like trying to get to the other side of a river by pretending the water isn't there. The mystics understood this secret of emotional alchemy. They didn't seek to avoid the dark nights of the soul. They learned to breathe through them, discovering that every shadow contains a hidden gift. Your breath is the philosopher's stone that transforms lead into gold, density into light, suffering into wisdom. But only when you stop using it to escape and start using it to embrace. The very emotion you're trying to avoid contains the exact frequency you need to break through to your next level of consciousness. Every conscious breath you take affects more than just you. Science is discovering that individual coherence creates collective coherence. When one person in a group achieves heart-brain coherence, it influences the coherence of others around them. This isn't just feel-good theory. Research by the HeartMath Institute shows that a person in a coherent state can actually entrain the heart rhythms of people nearby. Your conscious breathing creates an invisible field of peace that others unconsciously attune to. Families report that when one member begins a consistent breathing practice, everyone becomes calmer. Workplaces shift when someone in the group commits to staying in coherence. Even strangers in public spaces are affected by your internal state. You are not separate from the people around you. You are part of an interconnected web of consciousness, and your breath is continuously contributing to the collective field. Every time you choose presence over reactivity, coherence over chaos, you're literally healing the world. This is your real responsibility. Not to fix others, not to save anyone, but to maintain your own coherence so brilliantly that it becomes a gift to everyone you encounter. Your breath is never just about you. It's about the entire human family. The ultimate test of any spiritual practice isn't how good you feel during the practice. It's how you show up when life gets challenging. Can you maintain coherence in traffic? Can you stay present during conflict? Can you remember your breath when everything is falling apart? This is where most people fail. They create a split between their spiritual life and their real life. They think transformation happens on the meditation cushion and survival happens everywhere else. But quantum living means bringing that same presence, that same breath awareness, into every moment. It means recognizing that there is no difference between sacred time and ordinary time. Every breath is an opportunity to choose love over fear, presence over reactivity, expansion over contraction. The goal isn't to maintain peak states constantly. That's spiritual materialism. The goal is to remember that you always have access to presence through your breath, no matter what's happening around you. Sometimes your breath will be deep and flowing. Sometimes it will be shallow and restricted. Both are perfect. The practice is not to have perfect breath, but to have perfect acceptance of whatever breath is arising. This is freedom. Not the freedom from difficulty, but the freedom to meet difficulty with consciousness. Your entire life has been leading to this moment, this breath, this choice. Every experience, every challenge, every joy has been preparing you to step into the quantum field of infinite possibility that exists right here, right now. You don't need to wait until you're more evolved, more healed, more ready. Your readiness is this breath. Your worthiness is this breath. Your power is this breath. The 60-second quantum method isn't about the technique. It's about the recognition that you have never been separate from the miraculous life you're seeking. You've simply forgotten how to breathe yourself into remembering. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research shows us that belief can rewrite genetics. Joe Dispenza's work proves that elevated emotions can restructure neural networks. But all of this power is accessed through one simple gateway: your breath. Your next inhale is a chance to breathe in possibility. Your next exhale is a chance to release everything that no longer serves you. Your next 60 seconds could literally rewrite the trajectory of your entire life. The universe is waiting for you to remember who you really are. Not through years of seeking, not through complex practices, not through perfect conditions, but through one conscious breath taken with complete presence. So here's my invitation to you. Right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, take one breath like your life depends on it. Because it does. Breathe as if this moment matters. Because it does. Breathe as if you belong here. Because you do. Breathe as if your presence is a gift to the world. Because it is. Your quantum life is waiting for you on the other side of your next breath. Are you ready to claim it?